creatives! Welcome to JM Again, this is JM of IamJMKayne.com and the Creative Passport. Well, excuse my formal clothes. I just came by from the office. Anyway, we are doing again another episode of JM Kayne Review, book reviews by JM Kayne. And today we are going to do book review number 2. Book review number 2 is this one. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. This lady. So, this is the Japanese art of decluttering and organizing. I think it's a great time to actually read or reread this book and do the process, because I think most of us are currently in a home quarantine because of the current situation of the virus. I do hope everybody's staying at home and following the things that our authorities are instructing us to do. Setting that aside, going back to my point, it's a high time for us to be productive, and being productive means that we could read books and we could follow the instructions inside this book. So I am doing the same as well. The book actually gives us 6 steps to do so that we can follow the life-changing magic of tidying up. And let's start with the first step. Step number 1, visualize your destination. This means that you have to think and have a goal of how do you want to see your house? How do you want to see your workstation? How do you want that place to be clean and tidy as much as possible? Step number 2 is to understand the categories that Marie Kondo explained. So among all our staffs, there are 5 categories. The first category is our clothes, which is a lot of clothes for sure. Second category is books, which includes even this book. Marie mentioned that if you finish this book and you've started using it and you are applying it into your daily life, then it's high time as well to give this to the other people who could read it and do the process as well. So it has served its purpose. Category number 3 is the papers. For sure, we've got lots of documents, but for sure there's a lot of copies of them, and probably you have to let go of some of them. Not probably, you have to let go of them. Category number 4 is the kumono, or the miscellaneous. So basically you go to your kitchen and all other places in your house and you try to check out what are the other stuffs that are actually taking your space. And the 5th category is the mementos. Marie intentionally put it as the 5th category, category for you to tackle in, because mementos will take a lot of time due to its connection to emotion and something like pictures and some gifts from your friends and family. So it takes a little bit time. That is step number 2, to understand that. Step number 3 is to take one by one each item and ask yourself, does this thing sparks joy? So a lot of the clients that Marie has was asking, how do you know that that thing sparks joy? So basically, the very first time you touch the cloth, the book, the materials that you are about to decide whether to let go or to not to let go or keep it, is when you touch it, there is a certain joy in your heart that you still want to keep it. Not because it was given by somebody, but it makes you feel happy when you see that thing. Of course, you have to consider if that cloth or clothes, that shirt or blouse does still fits you, right? So when you touch and you feel like, okay, I'm okay to let it go, then you have to set it aside. But if you feel that it is still good, you also put it in one side, right? Marie suggested to have 3 plastics or boxes that you can put into. You put 1 box for all those things that you want to discard. Second box is for all those things that are still possible for you to donate. And of course, the box that you still want to use because they all spark joy. Okay, step number 4 is to get rid of all those materials. You can either, like what I have mentioned, you have 3 boxes, right? So Step number 4 is for you to get rid of these materials. Don't keep it in your house, because eventually you'll still open that box again. You will start taking them out and start using them, even if you don't really feel the spark, the joy that it gives to you. So donate them or dispose them. That's step number 4. Step number 5 is for you to store the items accordingly, according to the process that Marie Kondo is suggesting. So right after checking this video, try to check out some of Marie Kondo's instructions on how to fold, how to arrange stuffs so that your house would look better. Let's see. And then step number 6 is to practice KonMari way, or the Marie Kondo way, in our day-to-day life. So that is the 6 steps that we have to follow in this book. Okay, so after understanding all those 6 steps, it's time for us to actually do it. To be honest, I haven't done the other categories, which is the books. No, the books I did. So I have done the clothes and the books. So going back, I have done this back in 2017, so that's like 3 years ago, and I still have to do it again and again eventually. Well, what helps me more into this process is that Marie has launched as well the Netflix version of it, so it gives you a reminder of doing it constantly. Like, remember the step 6, you have to practice it into our day-to-day life and insert it into our daily lives, right? So now let me talk about my opinion about the book. Let me share about what are the pros and cons of this book, especially if you have tried it. And so let's start with the cons. All right, let's start with the downside of the book. So the process the process would really take time, especially when you have lots of stuff. And actually Marie suggested to do it one time, big time. It's like a big event, because if you make it into one day today and then the next day would be on the week after, it will eventually store up new things as well. Again, that's the first one. So it will take time. You have to really schedule it, and do something that not just a spare time, but a time for you to do and complete the process. Second one that is cons for me is that since I haven't completed all the categories, I feel that I need to redo all the things from all the categories, because it's been 3 years, right? So chances are for 3 years I have been storing things again, new books, new clothes, shirts, blouses. So it's not like advisable to actually really do it in a staggered way. I don't know the correct term, but separately and not one time, big time. So the third one is that it is difficult for me to find and get rid of the things, because when you're really not into this process and you're not really committed to follow the whole instructions of Marie, you will still go back to the cycle. And then one of my solution to actually get rid, this is fourth cons, is that one of my solution is to not to donate, not to throw them, but to send them back home, because I am in Dubai. So I take all these things, put it in the balikbayan box, and send it to the Philippines. Chances are some of those stuffs, although I'm not really sending things that are not usable, but still it seems that I am making my home a storage room. Although thanks to my mom, because my mom is very clever, she's using all these things she's giving these gifts to other people. Some donation drives in Cebu, or sometimes when those clothes are still very, very good, they are sharing it to our fellow family members and relatives as well. And then the fourth one that I think a little bit con on this one is that most of the steps that are being done on this book is more of for Asians, for Japanese, I guess. There are some actions that Marie explained, that such as washing and drying the sponge and putting it under the sun, that might not be applicable in some places. So in case for us here in Dubai, we don't really have the luxury of having enough sun, although we are in the desert, but there's really a high temperature. But we don't, in our places, in our homes, or probably in our flat, we don't have that luxury of having a how do you call that? I'm not really sure what's the term, but a place wherein you could dry your stuffs outside, because most of our clothes are actually dried inside the house, and the AC or the air conditioner is the one who's actually drying it up, right? So yeah, that's what I can say in the cons. Now, talking about the positive things or the pros of this book is, first, I think it gives us the time to really review all of our stuffs. Some of us here in Dubai stays in a small room, and so we thought that we have really small stuffs. But when you start doing the process, the KonMari way, you would realize, oh gosh, I've got lots of clothes, more than 100 or more. I've got lots of books, I've got lots of papers. And we usually realize this when we start to move out in our flats or in our rooms. Here in Dubai or in the UAE, we are usually NPA, no permanent address, because we just rent our accommodation. So as an OFW, I've been here in the UAE for 11 years, 12 years, and we kept on moving depending on our location. So I would say that I have moved around 6 or 7 times in the whole duration. So while staying here, we start to accumulate stuffs, and then eventually when you start moving, you start to see all of these things. And you will also see that when you do the KonMari way. That's the first con. Second con is that it has allowed me to see some of the clothes that I actually love, but I forgot where I put them. I just put them somewhere else, and I started to see, oh, I can still use this. So there is like a fresh eyes of seeing new things. The third pro, which I think is positively affecting me, is that I learned a better way of folding my clothes. I fold my clothes properly, the way Marie Kondo is saying. And with that way, I was able to see all of my clothes. What else? Oh, the fourth thing, I've learned to use boxes. Not necessarily boxes, but a container for me to see properly and to arrange properly all the other stuff. Not just the clothes, but all the other things that usually just get loose into your house. And what else? Oh, the fifth positive thing that I learned about this book is that I am that person who believes in outer order, inner calm, where outer order, inner calm. That means when I see that my surrounding is in order, I also feel calm. Yes, kalma lang. I also feel calm. And actually, I've learned this first. I was not able to name that feeling before, but because of Gretchen Rubin, she's one of those people that I follow on Instagram, and I listen to her podcast, and I learned that there are those people who has that kind of experience, that kind of feelings. So that mantra, outer order, inner calm, is something that I have learned when I started doing the Marie Kondo process. The Japanese art of decluttering and organizing things. And so because of that, it gives me more chances of having a clear view of the things. I'm not saying I'm perfect on this, but it's just that I started to think about it. I started to apply it. And so in between days, I tried to do my best so that my place would still look good. Not look good, but feel good, because it has space and it has order. Okay? So that's my pros. done with pros and cons. Now let me say and let me just share my personal conclusion. So I have to say that the book is actually nice. It's something that would inspire you to clean up, to organize, and even it planted a seed into my mind and into my heart to be tidy and to be mindful as well with the things that I buy. Asking myself, do I really need this? Something like that. Because if I need this, then I could bring it. But eventually, if I don't really need it, probably it will just take another space in my house. So every time that I see the book, even though I'm not reading it, it's been 3 years now, it gives me a boost of, hey JM, you have to do something to clean up, something like that. So I think it also helped us with minimalism. I'm not minimalistic, but because you learn to discard those things that doesn't spark joy, then it helps you to be a little bit frugal when it comes to buying things and keeping things in your house. So as of this review, which is 3 years after reading the book, I am still in the quest of doing the process once again. And hopefully this season wherein everybody are asked to slow down, to stay at home, then I could also have the time. That's why I have this time to record this book review, and I'll be also doing the same thing at home right now. So it gives me more space actually at home, and although I will not be able to complete it totally, then I still guess that it's still possible. Anyway, to all those people who have read this, tell me in the comment below what's your favorite part of the activity, and do you think that this book sparks joy? I hope that this book review helps you to know what to read next, what to do while we are in home quarantine. This has been JM Kayne, and thank you so much for watching JM TV. Bye!